Nigeria gained its independence on October 1st, 1960. I was born in Nigeria on October 10th, 1999. Nigeria, my country, I feel bound to you by fate. Our anthem says, "One nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity." I held on to these words as I deemed them the truth. The feeling of arrival to a place where you come from, to home, is unbeatable. I cling to that very feeling as long as I can. I go back home as often as I can. But the year of 2020 changed my perception of home. My family is in Nigeria. However, I have spent most of my growing years in the land of the free, America. On my drive to the airport, I stared at protesters on the street, holding Justice for George Floyd poster signs up. People like me don't belong here, I thought to myself. I made the decision to go back home for a full year, 1 year that would change the perception of my life forever. I boarded my flight to Abuja. I passed time by anticipating the new memories I would get to make with my Nigerian friends and family, longing to see my boyfriend Anthony. I smiled, thinking of the times when I would speak with my slight American accent, and he would laugh mockingly, referring to me as Onyocha. It means the white man in Igbo. I always found this funny and felt pride in the fact that the only thing that separated all of us on the surface level was our talking style. This was my evidence of Nigeria's growth and modernity. I was grateful for our independence and nationalism, no longer under colonial control. As my perception changed, I realized that the very freedom that came with decolonization became our greatest obstacle and the walls for our imprisonment. Once I landed in Abuja, I was welcomed by the hustle and bustle of just being in Nigeria. The taxi men stood outside the airport doors hassling for customers. I flagged one down. We drove past the beautiful mountains whose tips seemed to be touching the sky. The beauty of it was enchanting. My country. On the ride home, the sweet feeling of arrival filled me up to the brim. I was immersed in love and soaked in every single second of my time with Anthony, my family, and my friends. The beauty of reconciliation and love made it so that those short moments felt like years. These feelings make up for lost time. Months had passed and I had eased back into living in Nigeria. It felt surreal. The movie-like feeling came to an end when I was woken up by a call from my boyfriend's friend who was in a devastated state. All he had to say was Anthony, and my whole world came crashing down. Tony was found dead in his car the morning after our night out. He had gotten into a car crash, and instead of the police rushing him to the hospital, they robbed him and took everything in his car. My country. I came home and Tony didn't. Ezu River. Corruption is at the forefront of the political aspect of Nigeria. Corruption infiltrates society, the criminal system, and the government, where injustice reigns without consequences. It's hard to empathize with Nigerian police despite knowing that they are only products of their environment. Our country failed them. Victims turn to villains. Their state of poverty results in corruption and greed. They reserve their animosity for people like them, the helpless, unprotected masses. Thinking back to the haunting story of Ezu River police killings, my grandmother warned us about the police and Awka local government in Nigeria. There, the police want money, so they arrest innocent people expecting bail. But if they can't afford bail, they are slaughtered like animals and dumped in the river. Ezu River, where dead bodies are found floating in large numbers, and the only people you can turn to are the ones behind this. Our anthem says, "To build a nation where peace and justice shall reign." I felt like my world was ending. It was almost as if Tony dying was the catalyst for the country's ignition. After Tony, a young man was killed by the police. The country took to riots and protests. My country, a country where the civilians were in a perpetual state of victimhood, where the victims finally took a stand to finally push back and were killed for it. On October 20th, 2020, many took to the streets of Lekki toll gates. They screamed the pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity and uphold her honor and glory, so help me God. Nigerian soldiers opened fire on the assembly of unarmed protesters, killing 15 people and injuring many. As I board my flight back to America, leaving my country in flames, the thought of those who once were haunts me, the grief and sorrow of my Tony and of my brothers and sisters who tried their best. Survivor's guilt, perhaps? I look out my plane window. The view is breathtaking, and I think to myself, how can something so beautiful be so evil? Nigeria, my country, your people gave their lives up for you. When will you ever repay them? I left my nation bound in freedom and arrived in the land of the free. I was met again with protests on behalf of George Floyd. In what world do I belong in if I cross the seas to meet the same fate? Where is home for people like me?